No vote. No vote. No vote. No vote. No vote. No vote.
Welcome everybody to the stream. It started just a couple minutes late. How's everyone doing today? Dave Marks, thank you so much for joining the chat. I have company today, but I think Jasmine's probably gonna be a little bit on the quiet side. You want to say hi to anybody?
Good night.
Okay. All right, let me know if there's any issues with the audio track. Right now I have a ton of, not a ton, but a decent amount of noise in the background. They're doing a little bit of construction here. But today we're going to be talking about some absolutely terrible reporting going on. It seems like the media is absolutely gaslighting the public. There are two opinion pieces. The first one we're going to be going over is called Corona-chan in China kept me under quarantine. I felt safer there than back in the US. And the second one, which I really find disgusting, China bought the West time. The West squandered it. I read that headline. I was like, wait. China bought the West time. How? By lying to the public? By arresting doctors? By by allowing the Wuhan virus to spread outside its borders? China fucked the world over in a major way. I got a bunch of the stuff that China did pulled up, welding people indoors, the fact that they actually imprisoned a doctor trying to warn the public as to what was going on. Anyways, we're going to jump right into it. If you can do me a favor, though, big, giant favor. The stream is starting. Please send this out over social media if you can. That'd be great big help. And the final thing we're going to be going over is calling it Wuhan virus racist, because it's not. It is not, and that is bullshit. Ah, man. I don't know, man. It's like MSM is like straight up. They've just got China in their pockets, and oh boy, is it just disgusting with them lately. But I think a lot of people are stuck indoors. A lot of events are being canceled. There's really not much we can do other than complain on the YouTubes. Dave Marks, it's China. Of course, the government saying everything is fine. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. Oh man, there is no war in Ba Sing Se. Nice job dropping an Avatar reference there. Oh man, I'm just getting one more article pulled up to go over. This is on the scientist who was basically in prison. But unfortunately, I was going to use the Washington Post, but the Washington Post is essentially forcing me to sign up with them. So instead, we're going to read the LA Times for that article. I think. They're all either turn off your ad blocker or sign up for a subscription. I'm not going to do either. They're the worst. You know what? Every single article related to the doctor is blocked behind a paywall. Maybe the BBC will work. There we go. Okay, everybody, let me switch the screen over so you can see what I'm looking at. Turn off this little background image. The thumbnail was created, of course, by Origami, and if you like the music in the background, please check out Novo Beats in the description. Again, he lets us use his music for freezy. There we go. So, opinion piece. Coronavirus in China kept me under quarantine. I felt safer there than back in the US. Our laissez-faire attitude, prioritization of personal freedom, and utter lack of government leadership have left Americans confused and exposed. Prioritization of personal freedom. Fuck you. This was written March 14th by Tony Perman, associate professor. He's teaching children, people. Let's just go into this shit. When my family returned to the United States after 6 weeks of quarantine in Shanghai, our friends and relatives responded with congratulations and relief that we were finally safe. Less than a week since arriving back home, however, we don't quite share our loved one's sentiment. We felt safer in Shanghai as conditions improved than we do in the US. Bullshit improve. Oh man. Trust the Chinese government, right? Trust the Chinese government when they tell you conditions have improved, you're all safe, we've got this under control, after they lied for over a month and allowed the virus to get to the United States, allowed it to sweep through Italy. Italy's a massive quarantine right now. Hard quarantine. All because of China. Oh boy, I hate these people. Our anxiety was triggered as soon as we stepped on American soil. I don't think that has anything to do with coronavirus. I just think this dude's a pig. In China, airport medical checks happened before we were allowed into areas with other passengers, because that's where the outbreak is. At Chicago O'Hare International Airport, we waited in line with hundreds of other passengers at border security before finally being identified as having just returned from China. At that point, we were escorted to the side by an apologetic young man in a Centers for Disease Control and Prevention jacket, who checked our temperatures and gave us a packet informing us that, as individuals traveling from China, the CDC requested we isolate ourselves as much as possible for 14 days. Airport staff never even asked where we were going. You think they don't know? You honestly think they don't know, you soft-headed moron? I've now lived through a coronavirus quarantine in the two countries, and the differences are stark, well beyond their airports. In China, the obligation to isolate felt shared, and the public changed their habits almost immediately. You think that... Oh my god. Do you think maybe that's because what they were doing to the people who were not? Oh, man. Hey, guys, let me just say this one real clear. Defy the Chinese government and see what happens. Watch what happens. There's a stark difference there, too. What an idiot. Sterilization, cleanliness, and social distancing were prioritized by everyone at all times. Rightly or wrongly, the Chinese state's heavy-handed approach seemed to work. Fuck you. In contrast, individual liberty is the engine that drives American exceptionalism. There are certainly valid questions about how much of it to sacrifice in the name of the public good, but our laissez-faire attitude, prioritization of personal freedom, and utter lack of government leadership have left Americans confused and exposed. Praise China. I just want to remind everybody who's watching. This is from Tony Perman, who is an associate professor of music at Grinnell College. I get it's just music, but this man is teaching children that personal freedom is a bad thing, and that heavy-handed government approaches are a good thing. That is really authoritarian. I understand it's a pandemic, but it's a pandemic from the authoritarian government that allowed it to spread beyond its borders because they prioritized looking good. And this jackass is here going, yeah, let me polish up your turd, man. There are lessons to be learned from the Chinese people, if not its leadership. Its leadership? Dude, go fuck yourself. I got all these articles pulled up, and you'll see exactly why I'm just mocking the shit out of this idiot. Like everyone else in China, my wife, young son, baby daughter, and I were swept up in the COVID-19 crisis at the end of January. Seemingly overnight, the entire country went on lockdown. Did it, though? Because if the entire country was on lockdown the moment the virus... You know what? It's not even worth it. It's not even fucking worth it. In Shanghai, to which we'd moved in August to give our son the chance to live a Chinese life. Why? Why? I think this guy just really fucking loves authoritarian communists. He wants them to live the Chinese life. Gee, fuck you, man. Fuck you. I'm so sorry. This is just like, come on. Come on, for just like 10 seconds, just come on, stop with your bullshit. In Shanghai, to which August, we stayed indoors, wore masks whenever we had to shop or get some exercise, watched as every restaurant, park, museum, and shop other than grocery stores was closed and prepared for an open-ended quarantine. Everyone diligently maintained the mandated meters distance from one another. Professional sporting leagues were canceled almost immediately. Schools never reopened after the winter break. Across the city, special fever clinics were set up so that regular hospitals could keep other ill people protected. Because everyone was isolated due to a complex mix of state mandates, housing authority restrictions, peer pressure, and a deep sense of personal responsibility. Oh, and they fear the fuck out of the government! That's the big one! Yes, Origami, thank you. The shilling going on here. The big point is that they are terrified of their government. No, they did it because of personal responsibility. Fuck you! He teaches children. Oh, man. With everybody following suit, it never felt like a choice as it does in the US. Here, if we didn't decide to isolate ourselves, who would know? I mean... Sometimes in China, things became overzealous. Aw, just overzealous. Ah, man. There was deep mistrust and fear, understandably. Thank you! It was the fear, you idiots! Anyone without a mask was a risk. Stories abounded of communist communities taking upon themselves to barricade the entrance of their towns. Oh, fuck off, man. Fuck you. That was not what was going on. It was the fucking police, you piece of shit. Sometimes with official approval, neighbors ratted out neighbors suspected of hiding symptoms. There you go! Oh, man. He thinks these are good things. He thinks these are good things. Scores of volunteers also swept the country armed with thermometers. Collective civic responsibility over individual safety became a point of pride, one emphasized in government propaganda. Celebrating healthcare workers and urging Wuhan residents to remain at home for the good of the country. We'll show you what they were doing to people who, said, I don't want to. The virus had given the average person the opportunity to demonstrate their heroism, even if it killed them. You mean it allowed them to demonstrate their loyalty to Xi Jinping and the communists and the Chinese Communist Party? Oh man. I feel like I legit feel like I'm losing brain cells reading this. I really wish I had a case of corona right now. Because everybody was adhering to it. Quarantine in Shanghai soon settled into a predictable pattern. Residents relied heavily on online shopping, with drivers never entering apartments or interacting with customers. We ordered online. Drivers delivered to impromptu drop-off zones. We collected our purchases once they'd left. Some trips were still necessary, so every building required a temperature reading by security guards before entry. On my last excursion to a big supermarket before we left, I had my temperature taken 4 times between my apartment door and the produce section. Government offices and hospitals required travel history questionnaires to prevent anyone who'd been near the virus outbreak epicenter of Wuhan from entering. Some even required patrons to scan a barcode that revealed where their cell phone had been over the last 2 weeks to instantly fact-check people's answers. I mean, that's kind of creepy. That's pretty creepy. I am loath to credit this response to some kind of ingrained collectivism that has developed during decades of Communist Party rule, but the communal buy-in to the need for universal behavior change was astonishing. Yeah, fuck off, man. You love communism. I can just tell reading your crapshoot article. Certainly, the reality of authoritarian control, the subservience of the individual to the state or the collective, and the pressure to conform made widespread habit change both more feasible and acceptable, even if due to fear or retribution. Yeah, due to fear or retribution. Remember early in the article where he didn't contribute that to one of the reasons why people were behaving that way? But now, like later on, yeah, it's just a little fear of retribution, that's all. But there was a palpable all for one and one for all, or you're getting thrown in jail. You stupid fuck. In keeping with that spirit, in each of these moves to quell the spread of infection, it felt as if everybody was treated the same. There was never one set of guidelines for people who were potential infection risk and another for innocent bystanders. We were all at risk. We were all potential threats. Everyone was equally responsible for avoiding infecting others, or the police would handle you. Indeed, in China, I was indistinguishable from the millions of other responsible Shanghai inhabitants. In the US, by contrast, I feel marked as a recent resident of China and potential carrier. I'm healthy, but I'm a threat. There is a clear distinction between the contagious and the innocent, who shouldn't have to change their behavior for anyone because individual liberty... You're literally saying that they had to change their behavior in China out of fear of retribution, but at the same time stating that people innocent who shouldn't have to change their behavior for anyone because individual liberty is a greater value than collective deference. No, dude, it's just that they aren't fans of authoritarian, heavy-handed regimes where the police will show up, beat the crap out of you, drag you off the street, put you in your home, and weld you inside, you jackass. Jeez. People who appear Chinese are particularly being targeted. It's racism. There you go. Guys, we're all racist here. It's very racist here. And every day the disease is politicized in this way is a day when the virus utter disregard for passwords. You're not politicizing coronavirus at all in this article as you praise China and talk about how the US makes you feel scared. You piece of trash. Guys, there's oh man, this is just Let me read your guys' comments. I'm sorry. This is just so annoying. Right, sure. Is it still a dick move? Yeah, but I still prefer that over government mandate limits on hand sanitizer and shit. Origami agrees. It's like the Red Scare, but backwards. Wait, a case of Corona drink or a case of coronavirus? Dude, Dave, at this point, I don't know. I don't know. Probably both, maybe. Big Brother much. Is this guy a fucking... Yes. That is an apt description. This guy is totally a Borg. Oh, man. We're almost done with the article, and then we get to go into the next opinion piece before we just start slamming these idiots for praising what China has done. Habit change is also harder in the US, where individualism and optimism reign, and society seems segregated into the COVID-19 haves and have. Shut up! You're literally... Oh, man. You're praising the Chinese changing their habits because they fear retaliation, while at the same time saying it's so hard in the US because people are individualists. Like, shut up! Which one's literally worse? Being terrified of your government? You fucking idiot. With so little federal guidance, there is a trickle-down economy of responsibility, and it is up to the potentially diseased to keep non-diseased people safe, while any government or collective provisions seem wholly inadequate. Can you just imagine the shrieking of this moron if Trump announced, you know what? We're locking people up inside their homes if they have coronavirus, and if we catch you out on the streets, then we will send the police after you. Can you just imagine that if Trump acted exactly like China, that they would just say, this is proof! This is proof! And instead, they're going, China good! Because they pay us money. Fucking jackass. Following our CDC packet, we monitor our symptoms and take our temperatures twice a day, although nobody has ever followed up.
No vote.
We avoid grocery stores since they're public places, even though our online grocery shopping was a fiasco that took hours of blame passing as our order was never fulfilled. And go to hell. You baby. Go to hell. We've also been told not to bother with masks, and temperature taking is an afterthought, as at O'Hare. Maybe masks don't work, but maybe temperature reading is inefficient. But if it is an elaborate kind of security theater in China, it felt like everyone's in the play. How does that make sense? How does that make any sense? That literally saying, what we already know face masks do not work. Because COVID-19 lasts on surfaces for 19 days and it can get into your eyes. Face masks don't work, so sitting there praising, oh, they got face masks all over the place and it made everyone feel... Shut the fuck up. Jesus, man. I'd be more terrified of what the government would do to me if they caught me without one of these fucking useless face masks on. Asshole. We left Shanghai as the city was showing signs of flickering optimism. New cases were rare, according to the government. Life was returning to normal, according to the government, and the millions of quarantined residents were emerging tentatively from the shadows. I mean, the ones that didn't get disappeared. We entered the US as a country in panic. Guidelines shift from day to day and agency to agency. Coronavirus tests and adequate health facilities are in short supply. It's clear the government can't stop the spread. We can't simply hope high-risk people manage to avoid infecting others. It is up to all of us and each of us. We're all threats and we are all innocents. Just again, guys. Tony Perman, an associate professor of music at Grinnell College, because he went there to have his child live the Chinese communist lifestyle. That hurts. That hurts so much. But now we move on to the next one. So this was written a day before. God. Let me read you guys. I see some more people are talking now. So let's see. Roll. Thank you for the thumbs up. Dave Marks, ask not what your government can do for you, because that's fucking lazy and opens the door for them to control you. Dave, did you hear that you're famous? Oh, Joy, what the hell are you two up to? Oh my god, had some of your tweets in a video. Oh, congrats, Dave. You know what, Dave? You're on all of my streams, so you're already famous for Crow. But apparently Kayla doesn't respect that. I don't know why. I thought we were friends. New York Times opinion piece. China bought the West time. The West squandered it. God, don't we just sound so fucking awful, don't we?
No vote.
When I got off my flight from Beijing to London, what are all these assholes doing in China in the first place? I just... The one guy wants his kid to live a Chinese communist lifestyle. I can't. I live in China. I'm not trying to be a dick, but that should really discredit you from being in a fucking New York Times article, but I know it doesn't because the New York Times is desperate for China money. I live in China, where a dramatic lockdown since late January has made it clear that all residents, even those well beyond the epicenter's outbreak in Wuhan, were in the middle of a global health crisis. Well, except for the fact that it happened in January, and for weeks, the Chinese Communist government covered it up and arrested doctors and imprisoned them and disappeared other people and allowed it to spread well beyond its borders before finally admitting that they had a health crisis. Man, I hate these people so much. I do. But as the plane approached London, a sense of unreality set in. The airline distributed a cheaply printed sheet that only advised us to call the usual NHS hotline if we felt ill. So this is the same shit. This is the same shit. It's just China did good, US did bad. China real good, Western nation bad. Go China. I live China. I love China. I live in Beijing, China. I am in no way a simp for the Communist government of China. Trust my opinion because I am in the New York Times. China, 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 China. And I'm done with this shit, so instead, we're going to move on. If you want to read this crap, I can't. I read that entire fucking article, and I legitimately feel like maybe I suffered some sort of brain damage from it. Here we go. February 2nd. Remember late January in that quarantine these motherfuckers are praising? Coronavirus. Residents welded inside their own homes in China. There we go. People in China are being sealed inside their own homes as part of desperate steps to try and contain the spread of coronavirus. Desperate steps because they didn't warn the public. They didn't try to contain it. It spread well past Wuhan, and then it was at verge of infecting the entire nation. And then they did this shit. The first death from the disease outside China was confirmed today after a man died in the Philippines. 11 more British nationals are reportedly arriving in the UK from Wuhan later today, missing the first evacuation flight on Thursday. The second raft of evacuees from the coronavirus-stricken city is being flown into the UK via France. Meanwhile, shocking videos have been shared on social media in China showing residents being barricaded inside their own homes by groups of people using wooden boards and nails to keep their doors shut and prevent them from leaving. Two videos show all floors of residential buildings in Jiangsu, China were blocked by welding fence because confirmed case found in it. They like that, guys. Welded inside their fucking homes. In one shocking video, a metal bar appears to have been welded across a resident's front door with a gap wide enough that food can be handed to the residents, but too small for them to leave. One person shared footage online writing 2 videos. We just saw that. Another person said residents were being imprisoned in their own homes by the police, sharing several videos of workmen sealing up doors with warning signs next to them. Hey, remember when that jackass in that article we read, Tony Perman, associate professor, was saying that the people felt a personal responsibility? Yeah, I'm sure it had nothing to do with the police showing up and welding individuals inside their fucking doors. This is fucking insane. The overall death toll from the disease has risen. So these are old numbers. I'm not going to go through them because they are old numbers. I just wanted you to see this kind of crap, right? This is the bullshit that China was doing to its own residents. This is what they did to their citizens. And this jackass is praising it as personal responsibility. How's this? 10 dead after coronavirus quarantine hotel collapses in China. Oh, I bet he felt super safe not being in that fucking hotel with all those individuals. 10 people died after a hotel being used as a coronavirus quarantine center collapsed Saturday night in southeastern China, according to the Ministry of Emergency Management. 80 people were inside the building when it came down. 9 escaped, while 71 people were trapped. Of those, 48 have been pulled from the rubble and 23 remain unaccounted for. 23 remain unaccounted for. 10 dead. What do you think happened to the other 23? The Fujian Fire Department has deployed more than 1,000 firefighters and other emergency responders who worked through the night to find survivors. We're using life detection instruments to monitor signs of life and professionals breaking in tools to make forcible entries. We're trying our utmost to save trapped people. Man, see, this is what they were doing. They turned a hotel, and remember, the Chinese government don't care about its people. Like, I understand that, you know, they responded here, but come on, why'd you shove them into a hotel? It clearly had some issues, because it fucking collapsed with having them all inside. So again, we have welding people inside their doors. We have a hotel collapsing, containing the victims. And remember, our media is running articles praising China's response to this shit. How's this? Chinese diplomat promotes conspiracy theory that U.S. military brought coronavirus to Wuhan. How's that? Anyone like that now? We're responsible, apparently. It's not China who welded people inside their doors, man, you know what? Here. The Chinese doctor who tried to warn others about coronavirus. Dr. Li Wenliang, who was hailed as a hero for raising the alarm about the coronavirus in the early days of the outbreak, has died of the infection. His death was confirmed by the Wuhan hospital, where he worked and was being treated, following conflicting reports about his condition on state media. Dr. Li, 34, tried to send a message to fellow medics about the outbreak at the end of December. The end of December! They didn't go into quarantine for a whole fucking month. And they knew. And these idiots are sitting there going, well, China bought us time. Go fuck yourself. China infected the entire fucking world with their bullshit. 3 days later, police paid him a visit and told him to stop. He returned to work and caught the virus from a patient. He had been in hospital for at least 3 weeks. He was arrested, you assholes. Fuck you. You get it? You understand why this is so fucking frustrating? He tried to warn people at the end of December, and they're praising China for in late January finally responding to it. They knew as early as the end of December and ignored it, told him to shut the fuck up. He didn't, and according to state media, they even lied about his fucking condition until they couldn't anymore. This is China. This is the Communist Party of China, and anyone praising it is a fucking shill, a sellout, a degenerate, and Tony Perman, associate professor. Fucking idiots. Anyways, let's go back into this one. I feel terrible for this guy here. He died trying to warn the public, got infected, and I guarantee you they were not taking care of this individual. He was 30 years old with no pre-existing condition, and he died of coronavirus. So either he hit the jackpot, that 0.02%, or he was just not being treated. Which one do you think is more likely, given China's response to this entire thing, and that they tried to... Man, fuck these people. Fuck them every single way to Sunday. A prominent Chinese official has promoted a conspiracy theory that the United States military could have brought the novel coronavirus to China, and it did not originate in the city of Wuhan, as thought. Posting to his more than 300,000 followers on Twitter, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian republished a video of Robert Redfield, the director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, addressing a U.S. congressional committee on March 11th. In the clip, Redfield said some influenza deaths in the U.S. were later identified as cases of COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel coronavirus. Redfield didn't say when those people had died or over what time period, but Zhao pointed to his remarks in support of a growing conspiracy theory that the coronavirus did not originate in Hubei province in central China. He did not offer any further evidence for the claim. Well, he didn't. He did not. CDC was caught on the spot. When did patient zero begin in the U.S.? How many people are infected? What are the names of the hospitals? It might be the U.S. Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan. Be transparent. Fuck yourself. Man. Make public your data. U.S. owes... Oh my god, dude. If I ever saw this guy in real life, I would stop at nothing to beat the crap out of him. I don't care. He'd have like 10 fucking security guards around him. I would charge at this idiot. You owe us and I would scream the entire time, you owe us an explanation. You asshole, you fucking piece of filth. Man, oh man. Yeah, Bad Crow. Like, come on. Come on. After everything you saw them do, this piece of shit goes out there and just randomly says, oh, the US infected China. Just shut the fuck up. Oh boy. Now, to everyone praising China. What? Oh, Kyle Jordan, how you doing, man? He got Epsteined. Yeah, he totally got Epsteined. So what? So it's not Wu Flu. Kung Flu it is then. No, the worst was, I think, gosh, who is it? The Anti-Defamation League put out a tweet, right? And in it, the Anti-Defamation League, guys, I'm just, that earlier comment about stopping at nothing. Look, the fact of the matter is, this guy lives in China. I'm never going to China, so I think he's reasonably safe from me trying to charge at him bare-fisted. Especially given he probably has more people that can stop me than I have people that could stop him. AKA me. Yeah, I'm the same way. This is just so frustrating talking about this. Just absolute terrible human being. Man. Just to clarify, not a threat of violence. I know that eventually Crow Judgement will take off, will become major YouTubers, and some asshole will find that clip, chop it up, and say, look, he was threatening to beat up Chinese governmental officials. Jesus. But you know I gotta say it. You know I have to say it. Frustrating. It's really frustrating reading this shit. He just goes out there with his conspiracy theory. And I think if you watch Tim Pool, he actually did a video on this. Twitter is refusing to do anything about this tweet. Now, they're not going to say, link you to the CDC or anything. They're just leaving up a conspiracy theory, which is funny given how upset they are over conspiracy theories on their platform. Anyways, now here is where we really get into the shit of things, right? This is an article from December. From Politico. U.S. policymakers worry about China weaponizing drug exports. One of the biggest national security threats in the U.S.-China trade war could be to the everyday medicines taken by millions of Americans. The U.S. relies on imported medicines from China in a big way. Antibiotics, over-the-counter pain meds, and the stuff that stops itching and swelling. A lot of it is imported from China. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping so far have left pharmaceuticals out of the bilateral trade war, including the announcement last week of a mini deal. While Trump has used national security as a rationale to slap tariffs or trade sanctions on a variety of imports, medical supplies haven't fallen under such scrutiny. But the U.S. is woefully unprepared to address even minor disruptions in the supply of drugs. Medicines can be used as a weapon of war against the United States. Rosemary Gibson, a senior advisor of healthcare issues at the bioethics-focused Hastings Center and co-author of China RX Exposing the Risk of America's Dependence on China for Medicine. It's I suggest reading that one. Okay, go through it. This was posted December 20th, 2019. So this is something that they have been concerned about for, well, before the whole coronavirus thing. Now, this article from Fox News. China hints at denying Americans life-saving coronavirus drugs. And there you go. Anyone kind of feel we might be in a Cold War type situation right now? Ah, man, not to be conspiratorial, but what do you call it when they're saying, when they're hinting that they'll withhold medication after a virus originating from their country was allowed to spread, because rather than address it and quarantine it and deal with the situation, instead they decided to lock people up, send the police and tell people to shut up and stop talking about it. And now they're hinting, you know what? Maybe we're also going to withhold your medication. Yeah, oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. And what do we have from NBC and the New York Times? Pro-China articles praising their response. Talking about how the U.S. is just woefully unprepared. The U.S. wouldn't have to deal with any of this shit were it not for China. Like, how do we get past that point? I don't fucking know. Then we praise fucking communists. Jesus Christ. Something's wrong here. Let me read you guys' chats. Sorry. Now it's just pissing me off, man. I have no doubt they wouldn't hate Gabe. Oh, so this is about the, Dave Marks, congrats for being internet famous. Good job, man. Dave, so he got Epstein. Yeah, the doctor, I highly doubt he died of natural causes from the coronavirus. I just doubt that so much. I mean, does anyone really believe it? What? So it's not Wu Flu, Kung Flu it is. Yeah, we can call it Kung Flu. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. And I always blank on was it Carpe Donktum? Carpe Donktum saw a tweet from the ADL where they called calling it Wuhan virus or China virus is indeed racist. So Carpe Donktum goes like, no it isn't, and if you're gonna say it is, I'm gonna call it the Ching Chong Prague. And I go, damn. Oh man, Ching Chong Prague is definitely, maybe that one's a little too far, but fuck if it's not funny. Oh man. Oh man. Cal Jordan Gaming, some are, but he's a good crow. I am a good crow, but today I'm a very angry crow. So about those hackers using Corona maps for phishing scenes for data on people's computers. Origami. Jesus, man. Jesus. So, yes, this is actually a little bit of important PSA. You can kind of see here what's going on that they're talking about with holding coronavirus medication. Then I have the little silly one from CNN where opinion, it's the Federalist. CNN's racists say the Wuhan virus started in China. We'll go into that in just a second. But, guys, this is kind of serious. I'm not the person to report on it, to be frank with you. There is another YouTuber, I think, or actually sent me the link. He goes into the technical data behind this, but as of right now, there are hackers and there are scammers, and this is really important to understand, that are going out there with fake maps of where the coronavirus outbreaks are occurring. They're just stealing people's data. So if you download any of these apps, if you download anything like Coronavirus Tracker, you go online to use any of that stuff, only use government sources. I know we're ragging really hard on the Chinese government, but do not go to a third party for this information, because during times of crisis, you will obviously just, your faith in humanity will be shaken, to say the least. But they're downloading fake maps of coronavirus, and when you download it, you get just a bunch of phishers going through your information and stealing it. Oh man, that one is real scummy. That's like 10 different fucking levels of just being a complete fucking degenerate. Yeah, there's another YouTuber who actually covered it, and he did a long video on it. I actually suggest checking it out because he went into the technical side of what they're doing. If you look up, I think if you just YouTube search coronavirus, coronavirus phishing scheme, you'll be able to find his video. He's got a ton of views on it right now. It is good to understand what's going on. But if for any reason at all, you feel like you need to know where outbreaks are occurring, do yourself a favor. Only use sources from like the CDC or your local government or even the federal one. Do not use a third-party source because some of them are completely compromised and the data that they have is totally fucking false anyways. Aura, thank you so much for mentioning that, because I was going to spam through this last little bit, and that is actually really important to let people know about. Or like trying to sell $10 rolls of TP in areas that the maps say have coronavirus. That is fucked up. I don't get the toilet paper thing, guys. That is... But my faith in humanity was kind of neutral, and now it's just like plummeted beyond beyond anything that I could ever have imagined. Fucking scalping for toilet paper. There's a video of some guy who got shanked with a bottle while they fought over toilet paper. It's that stupid. They're only worried about right-wing conspiracy theories. Yeah, they only are. Origami schemes. They're trying to crack that code on corona deliveries. Ayla. Calger Gaming. That would seem like a bit of a liability, IMO. That's just my white man alt-right conspiracy theory dude, though. Yes, I think we have Kyle Jordan, white. Jesus, man. Are you also old, male, and straight? Because, if you are, if you have any three of those combined, pretty bad for you. Oriental oopsie. wait, Xing Chong prank. Oh man, like plague, but replace the L with an R. I can't say Ching. Fucking YouTube. What, you can't? Jesus. You can't say Ching? No way. I'm gonna try. I can. What are you doing, Bucket? Oh, my cat's here now. Alright. He wants to talk to you guys. I can't help it. Dave, Oriental Oopsie sounds like the ultimate move from Dragon Ball, just saying. Or a sex move, not a good sex move. Which one do you think it sounds more like? A sex move or a a sex move or an ultimate move from Dragon Ball? Honestly, Oriental Oopsie. I think Dragon Ball move. Bucket seems to be responding to that one more. Stabbed by a wine bottle in a grocery store while fighting over toiletries is pretty lame. This is pretty sad, man. Not just lame. Oh, gosh. Alright, guys. So, this is from the Federalist. Now, this is definitely a right-wing source. Which is fine, because I went through so many left-wing sources today. So I think we're good. I think I actually have the same... let's see here. CNN's chief White House correspondent Jim Acosta joined the woke crowd, accusing the president and anybody else who accurately points out that coronavirus COVID-19 originated in the Chinese city of Wuhan, earning it the name Wuhan virus. And actually, calling it coronavirus is a mislabel on its own because there are several different strains of coronavirus. Coronavirus is and I could be wrong here, but I believe even SARS is a strain of coronavirus. So calling it coronavirus actually refers to a bunch of different viruses. So calling it Wuhan virus is actually way more accurate. Like 1,000 times more accurate. But that's not going to stop our media. The president referred to the coronavirus as a foreign virus, Acosta explained at the White House following President Donald Trump's Oval Office address to the nation Wednesday night. It's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia. to use that kind of term in this speech. What a bitch. I'm sorry, but what a just absolute bitch. And we got a bunch of these. Acosta joins Democrat lawmakers and activists in condemning anyone who points out the virus origin in the East Asian nation that tried desperately to cover it up. Representative Ted Lieu of California blasted his peers from Arizona. Republican Representative Paul Gosar, who self-quarantined out of concerns of possible infection, for referring to the virus as the Wuhan virus. Liu chastised his colleagues' accurate description as an example of the myopia that allowed it to spread in the U.S. Fuck you! The virus is not constrained by country or race. Yes, but it has an origin point, you dumbass. And I like this part, right? So he announced he's quarantined. Dear Dr. Paul Gosar, I will pray for you, your staff, and the person hospitalized. But also, calling COVID-19 the Wuhan virus is an example of it. Just fuck off. Either say, you know what, I'll pray for you. I disagree with you. Yada yada. Don't do this shit, you two-faced piece of trash. A number of major viruses have been named in reference to the site of their first outbreak, such as the West Nile virus and the St. Louis, I can't even say that, encephalitis virus. I can't, guys. I'm bad crow all around. MERS, which saw its first outbreak in 2012, stands for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. That's racist then. I'm Middle Eastern. I'm calling that shit out. Calling that out. You can't call it MERS. You do? Okay, baby, go ahead and say it.
St. Louis encephalitis virus.
Oh, there you go, guys. That's why Jasmine's here. She can correct me. Oh my gosh. Actually, this one's pretty funny. Okay, so MERS, which saw its first outbreak in 2012, stands for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome and is often referred to as camel flu. I can't, guys. Like, that's funny. Sorry. I'm so sorry to my Middle Eastern brothers. It's still funny. I'd probably call it camel flu too. The Wuhan virus warrants reminding the public where it came from even more so than others. As Rich Hillary points out in the National Review, China's government tried to suppress warnings about the new coronavirus and look the other way, giving it the room to become a national and then a global crisis. China, therefore, deserves to be connected to the virus. It did more than its share to loose on the world, no matter what its foreign ministry or the sensitivity police say, and that is a perfect point from the Federalist. I mean, it is. You can't argue with that. It originated in Wuhan. If you want to say, well, it spread everywhere, yes, because of China. And China obviously cares more about their image than anything else. So I think calling it Wuhan virus is the most appropriate thing here, because we cannot let them fucking gaslight people and do stupid ass shit like saying, oh, the US, they infected Wuhan with the coronavirus. That is some grade A bullshit. No. I think I got the right video pulled up here, so I'm going to apologize. This is a clip of just everyone in the media calling it Wuhan coronavirus for weeks, until Trump called it Wuhan virus, and then they lost their shit. So let me go ahead and play that for you guys.
At least 6 people have died from the Wuhan coronavirus.
The Wuhan coronavirus has now surpassed the 2003 SARS outbreak in the number of lives it's claimed.
They're under quarantine out of concern that passengers and crew were exposed to the Wuhan coronavirus.
And this breaking news just into CNN. The official death toll from the Wuhan coronavirus in China's Hubei province has now risen to 780.
Having to deal with it, the total number of deaths from the Wuhan coronavirus, it's now surpassed the SARS outbreak from 2002, 2003.
Spreading fast as the number of confirmed cases of the Wuhan virus continue to surge.
In a matter of days, Dr. Li Wenliang went from treating patients to becoming one. The 34-year-old ophthalmologist diagnosed Saturday with the Wuhan coronavirus.
We have new information about how the Wuhan coronavirus is spread. Good to have you with us. So we start with the Wuhan coronavirus spreading across China.
Wuhan coronavirus have now been confirmed in all Chinese regions.
Welcome back. This is another story we're following closely because the signs are getting worrisome. There are now 11 confirmed cases of the Wuhan coronavirus here in the U.S.
So, there you go. Oh, man. There you go. Right? So on top of just everything else, right? On top of all the bullshit praising China's response when they did some horrific shit, when they knew about coronavirus being spread in Wuhan in late December. They probably knew before that. That was when the doctor tried to warn the public. So they probably knew well before that happened, right? So they didn't respond to it until the end of January, when people had been flying in and out of Wuhan and infecting other people because they lied. And these jackasses at New York Times and NBC writing their opinion pieces are praising China's response and crackdown and human rights abuses. And talking about how amazing it was over there and how terrible it is in the US. Well, you know what, you pieces of shit? The US would not be infected with this crap if it weren't for the goddamn liars in China. And how do we follow this up? Now it's racist to even refer to it as Wuhan virus? Yeah, fuck off. Fuck all the way off. I can't. I cannot. The only reason why they're saying that bullshit is A, because after weeks of calling it coronavirus or calling it Wuhan virus themselves, Trump called it Wuhan virus. Trump called it a foreign virus. Conservatives started referring it to as Wuhan virus, and all of a sudden that made it racist. Not them saying it for weeks. It was when Republicans also started saying it. Now it's racist. Protect China. China doesn't want it to be called Wuhan virus because it looks bad for China. Just absolute fucking degenerates. You agree? You disagree?
Fuck China. They're ridiculous. Oh my gosh. That's where it originated. That's you.
That's me.
It's deserved. It's fine.
Man, if Jasmine weren't here, guys, I'd probably be ranting even more. So, you have her to thank for this. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to read up the rest of you guys' chats, and then we're going to close it out for the day. Let's see here. Oriental Oopsie. Is the crow talking to his cat about potential DBZ sexual euphemisms? No. We were discussing if calling it Oriental Oopsie sounded more like a move from Dragon Ball, which it would. Original Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. Or if that sounded like a very bad sex position. Bucket responded to it being a Dragon Ball move. So do not try to conflate those two. You will get me banned. Coronavirus light. Cats have strong opinions on these things. Coronavirus extra. Bitches, yes, we have quite a few. Not many folks believe Acosta. Nobody believes Acosta. Well, I won't say that. Acosta believes Acosta. Acosta loves Acosta. Whoa, stars. Is this dude seriously using the pseudonym Justice? Yeah. Bruh. Remember swine and bird flus? I made it out alright with the swine flu. KO'd me for a week, but still here. Origami, good job, man. I didn't even know that you had that. So we're gonna have to practice social distancing because apparently you're contagious with a whole bunch of stuff. David Marks, nice job not being genetically inferior at origami. Pal Jordan Gaming, smallpox like, that's cute. People acting like this is the plague. Well, I think you gotta call it what Carpe Donctum said and call it the prague. That might be a little racist. But at this point, if everything is racist, nothing's racist. Okay, let me explain to Jasmine. So, we're sleeping. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which tracks racism, that they said definitively calling it Wuhan virus is racist. So, someone on Twitter said, fuck you, it's not racist. In fact, because you called that racist, I'm just going to start calling it Ching Chong Prague. Ooh. I agree, because Ching Chong Prague would be racist. That would be racist, but if you're going to call it, even referring to its origin point as racist, you're going to get people who are just pissed off, and they're going to say some shit like that. But this is the world we've created. All of us. We're all responsible. We gave them too much power. People acting like this is the new Prague. I like Miss Crow. Aw, Kyle Jordan Gaming likes you.
I like you too, Kyle Jordan Gaming. That's a long name.
He's a good guy, though. He's in with us with every stream.
Good.
He promotes the channel. And actually, Kyle Jordan Gaming is the only one who remembers to actually plug our... No homo. Racist confirmed. I used a yellow-skinned emoji. Come on, man. Come on! Have some sensitivity! I was trying to compliment you as the only one who ever remembers to plug our Patreon. And that is true. He is literally the only one who ever remembers to plug our Patreon. And we really appreciate it. Guys, that is the video. That's the chat. It is 3 o'clock and we've been going for an hour. So, thank you so much again for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you can, do me a favor, check out our Patreon. It is in the description. Check out Novo Beats, who makes awesome music. What I'm going to do right now, as always, is get us some music to play, sign us out, and thank you so much for tuning in with us. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Practice good hygiene. And again, avoid these third-party coronavirus maps. They are phishing schemes. Not every single one, but enough of them are. You will not know who is doing what. Use only the official government sources, because at this point you just don't want your data stolen. Alright, man. Thank you so much, everybody, and Lady Kayla for tuning in. Bye-bye.
No vote.